Welcome to the Coaching Gold Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Rudy Jackson, and I'm here with my thought leader, Dorian Cunion. Dorian, we've got another exciting show. We're going to get good information about goal setting today, and I hope you're ready to get started.
Now, I'm excited about the guest that we have today. I think it's going to be a great episode.
All right, well, we want to start by welcoming our guest, Miss Kaisha McCrea. Kaisha, please introduce yourself to our audience and let them know a little bit about you and your background as a coach.
Excellent. Thank you for having me. I am Kaisha McCrea. I'm the CEO and founder of Growing Perspectives Career Consulting. I'm a certified coach from the International Coaching Federation. My specialties are in leadership coaching, executive coaching, and career coaching. My clients typically are mid-career professionals and leaders and individual clients that are looking to advance in their careers. They may be going through career transitions, and I'm passionate about supporting leaders, professionals, and organizations to grow and thrive. And my background before I moved into coaching 100%, I was in corporate America for over 20 years. My background started in engineering and then transitioned to different operational roles. And that's when I was introduced to coaching when I was in corporate.
Well, that's great. We're excited that you're here. And I want to start a little bit. Maybe you can give us a couple more nuggets about those 20 years in corporate America, because many times that journey and entry into coaching is an interesting one and actually reveals something about you and your background of what you bring to coaching. So can you share a little bit about what led you to move from corporate America into coaching?
Absolutely. So when I was in corporate, there was a role where I was a corporate consultant, and we worked across different business units in the organization, and change management was a key element of supporting the groups to adopt the changes. And then that led to coaching. And I realized I really liked working with people in that type of setting. I've always liked working with people, but definitely as it related to coaching the leaders, coaching the teams, team building, and change management. And so I was able to transition from that role, go into another role, more improvement roles, but I never left behind that coaching element. And there came a time where I felt a pinch. I like to say a pinch, a little discomfort, where I felt like, I'm not experiencing the same level of support that I felt at different points in my career at this time. And I still wanted to grow. I still wanted to thrive. And I said, I think others may be feeling a similar pinch. And that's what led me to start Growing Perspectives Career Consulting. I wanted to support people to be as successful as they desired, regardless of the number of years experience they have or do not have. When I started the business, it was focused on early career professionals and mid-career professionals to support them to thrive, because I remembered how both stages of my career felt. I had great mentors, but not everyone does. And so that's what really started the itch to say, okay, let me start my business. I want to support people to grow and thrive. And then things shifted. COVID happened in 2020, and then that was my opportunity. There were different downsizing in corporate America, and I had already started my business on the side. And this was the opportunity for me to really continue to bet on myself and walk through the door that God had opened for me. And I haven't looked back since 2020.
Yeah, well, it sounds like that pinch created a pivot that COVID gave you the nudge, and then you brought all that experience with the change management into your business as you began to grow it. So
Absolutely.
that's a great way to start this conversation. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So I know you as a very accomplished woman. I mean, you're an author, like you're a coach, you've got a thriving business. And I know one of the things that you help people with is setting goals, which is the topic for today. Can you tell us a little bit about how you help your clients from a goal setting standpoint?
Absolutely. Um, on the surface, goal setting appears to be very straightforward, but I support my clients in really honing in on what's most important to them and what's most important for their development and their growth. And sometimes it can take more than one conversation, more than one session to really get down to what is the core essential goals that they desire for themselves and for their careers. And sometimes it's not always the first thing that comes to mind. And so definitely supporting them around accountability, taking the time to reflect and really process and understand what they want to achieve, and then supporting them to monitor how are they achieving their goals? What are some obstacles that might stand in their way? And how to leverage their existing skill sets and expertise to reach their goals. And I'm a big proponent of talking about tapping into your resources and your network. So, reminding my clients that we don't have to achieve our goals all by ourselves. We have a lot of resources available to us.
I love what you said about the presenting problem because I feel like a lot of times people will come and say, "Oh, I want help with X." And then after a session or two, you start to realize, "Oh, it's actually something a little bit more deeper." And that's really, I feel like, where the transformation happens with coaching when we can kind of get beyond the surface problem and really get to the root of the issue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes it may not even be apparent to the client at that time. So it does take some time to unpack certain things and process it.
You actually kind of opened up another question that I had, because as you're talking about unpacking and helping them get greater awareness to what's really going on, many times we rush to this place of, what can people do better? Or what do you wish they knew better? And sometimes it's not as simple as asking that. If somebody is watching this and they're thinking about enlisting the services of a coach, can you give them some examples of like how that process works and how a coach helps them unpack and get greater understanding so that they can get to the act of goal setting?
Absolutely. So once you decide to connect with a coach, and coaches we are available. We are there. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can Google and find us in your local area. And if you're not sure, you can go to a industry organization like ICF, the International Coaching Federation. There's a list of coaches there as well as other bodies that support coaches. But how coaches can support clients to unpack their experiences and where they want to go is really, we are very objective. So we're great listeners. We have been trained in listening. We're great observers as well. So we can observe your body language when you're talking with us. We can connect the dots on information that you share. So it's really around scheduling that initial discussion with the coach, sharing, being transparent about what you would like to achieve, what your goals are. A coach, my experience as a coach, I work with my clients on really walking through the process with them, really not rushing through the process, but giving them a chance to communicate where they see themselves developing further. So understanding their vision, really understanding any roadblocks, any barriers. A big topic is assumptions, because we all can make them. So a coach, we can work with our clients to help them further clarify where they want to go, what they need to address, as well as challenge assumptions they make about themselves and others. And it's in a safe space. We're very objective. We're not going to judge you about what you decide to do or not to do. We're there to support you as a partner as you grow.
Well, I think that last piece, that non-judgmental piece, especially whether it's your own small business or whether you're in corporate America or in a nonprofit, that becomes a distinguishing feature that you don't find anywhere else, whether you're working with your direct reports or you're working with your supervisor. You don't feel like judgment is not there. But when you can go and work with a coach, you have a different experience. And what I really wanted to also get to is, as you talked about the journey, many times we focus a lot on the destination. You got to create your annual goals. You got to measure them. You got to have some outcome and all that stuff. And now you get the opportunity to work diligently and listen to someone go through the journey. Do your clients find that to be a new experience? Do they find that challenging to kind of shift gears a little bit? How do clients experience that?
No, they do. They enjoy the process. And as you were asking the question, a lot of clients enjoy being able to slow down and be able to further process, to be more in tuned. Because sometimes we all can run on, well, some of us, we can run on automatic. So when we can slow down, there's new insights to gain, different viewpoints, you have different perspectives. And as a coach, we also can provide other resources for our clients to consider, whether there's assessments, books, our experiences, we can share some tips as well. So being able to slow down, have another perspective, additional resources, my clients appreciate that. And it is affirming along the way and informative as well. Yes.
So within the Power Six model that Rudy and I use, we talk about the first thing you got to do is kind of motivate action, which is all about like defining what your vision is, and then we get into trust, which I feel like a lot of individuals, in order to achieve their goals, they got to trust themselves that they can actually do the things that they aspire to do. And then once we have those two things, we really get into setting the goals. When you think about like goal setting at the individual level, what do you wish more people knew around the importance of like setting clear goals?
Two things came to mind first. One, and there's likely two trains of thoughts on this. One is that it does not have to be perfect. Just start. You have to start somewhere. Sometimes if we wait for everything to be perfect, we have lost time. We've lost this momentum, improvements you could have gained. So I am a big champion of starting somewhere. So start that goal. You can revise it. You can improve it as you become more informed, but start. It's easy to wait and sit. The work is to start. So that's one thing I wish more people would know, that it is okay to begin and not have everything perfectly laid out. That would be number one. I'm big on that because you can still progress and you can learn along the way. And number two, I would say, is that goals are important because we can progress to a certain extent without them, but goals give us a direction. And goals, as Dorian mentioned, I was in a session with him last week, it's a scorecard for us. We can see how we're doing. It's something you can compare your progress against. So goals help us know where we're going. Have we achieved it? And it allows us to really hold ourselves accountable as well and have more direction.
I'm sure you've gotten into this because you work with young professionals like I do, and kind of the fear and anxiety. Like when I ask people, like, what's your long term goal? They're like, I don't want to be in the C suite. It's like, okay, that's fine, but where do you want to be? And I feel like, a lot of times people are so concerned about, well, what if I set a goal and I don't achieve the goal? So, like, as you're working with people, how do you navigate those, like, fears and anxieties?
Number one, to recognize it, what you just did, call it out in a respectful way, to support the clients to recognize it, and to share with them that it's okay not to have it all squared away. It doesn't have to be perfect. I believe that we continue to evolve. So that's a big message that I share with my clients, that we can adjust, we can pivot. I heard Rudy mention pivot. We can do that, and it's okay. And many people change. So just because you marked it today, you don't have to stay with that same goal maybe next year, but to be okay with change. And most of us are not okay with change, but supporting my clients to feel more comfortable with change.
That's great. Well, I was listening to the two things that came to mind first, and the whole thing about just starting and, getting that direction so that you can, maybe have a scorecard, which to me doesn't necessarily have to be pass fail, but it really can be a tool to monitor your progress.
Absolutely.
To pat yourself on the back, or to think about what else is needed, or whatever fuel you may need to kind of move forward, or to pivot if necessary. And so I really do like those. I'm going to always encourage people to come to you to get that support.
Thank
And sometimes people may want to think in their mind, well, I do want to get started, but if there's something I can think about or do right now this week or the next weekend, is there something you give to folks to get them mentally on that road to thinking more seriously about goal setting?
Yes, I would say the biggest thing would be to take some time to just think about what do you want to do. What goals might you want to consider? And I always like to ask the question, what happens if you don't do this goal? So giving them chance just to think about the consequences. In our family, we talk a lot about, there's pros and cons to everything. In action, there's a result that will come from that as well. So giving them the opportunity to think about it is risk-free to move forward. And what happens if you choose not to?
I really like that for a number of reasons, for personal, professional. It's all relevant down to the smallest thing of, exercise or diet to running your business and leading a team. So I really, really like that. But we are at that special time in our podcast where we get to showcase our guest coach and let him or her ask us a question. We are open to pretty much anything you may have, and we'll do our best to answer your question.
Awesome. So my question for both of you, what has been most enjoyable in your career to date? It could be a work group experience. What has been most enjoyable in your career to date?
Dorian, I'll start. I'll start this one. I always tease him. I try to go first so I don't forget to answer the question. But what's been most enjoyable, and Dorian will relate to this on two levels. Number one, he knows that I'm a builder. And I got that from my dad, who was a bricklayer. And I just have always liked to build things, primarily in the educational realm, programs and opportunities and trainings and evaluations and things like that. I'm a builder. So that's rewarding. But the other piece is I've been lucky to not only have family, but because I'm an educator, I have all these students who are now professionals who keep me grounded and give me, evidence on a daily basis or weekly basis of, how education has provided for them. So to me, outside of my family, in my career, being an educator, teacher, professor, and all that stuff, just seeing my students kind of flourish is like the biggest joy.
That's awesome.
So I'd have to say, and it goes back to my previous kind of corporate life. When I first got promoted to being a zone leader, I took over the smallest zone that was in the country, and there weren't a whole lot of big expectations for us. And in the second year that I was enrolled, we had the number one scorecard in the country, and that was just so like fulfilling for me because when I took over that team, I had a lot of anxiety. I was younger than all of my employees, had literally some people that reported into me that I used to look up to when I started my career. So they were like people that were like my role models, and I got the opportunity to actually lead them. Um, for me to be able to come back to Virginia where I went to school and to like lead that team and get everybody bought into like our systems and our processes and actually deliver like the strongest sales growth, the strongest food growth, like great customer service. It really did a lot to boost my confidence. And now as a coach, when I'm working with small business owners, like I'm really bought in. Like Rudy and I, when we were building the Power Six, one day I called him and I was like, "So here's the success equation. We're going to share this with everybody. It is organizational culture times process equals results." And that is just going to be like the mantra that we share with everybody. And as I've like taught the program, as I've worked with people, really getting people to like, if you're not happy with your results, you can either change your culture, you can change your processes, but ideally, if you can change both of them at the same time, you're going to see the best results. So, really having that experience and then being able to not just win in that moment, but learn from that experience and be able to pass it forward has just been super rewarding for me.
So love it. Love it. Thank you both.
Hey, Dorian, I think this is the first time I think we ought to switch the guest question back on the guest. That, Kaisha, I think you ought to answer that question.
Still gonna say no. Most enjoyable in my career, it's going to be here. It's going to be where I am now. Um, I have the opportunity to see things in a different light. After 20 plus years, working in corporate America and then working as a small business owner, this is the most enjoyable. This is the most enjoyable, bringing everything that I brought from corporate here, being able to meet another group of folks in the community, getting closely connected in the community has been fantastic. And I'm just enjoying this next phase of the career and developing and building what you mentioned. It's been awesome. So I'm going to say where I am right now, this is the most enjoyable spot.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot because I know you have a lot of things going on right now. So outside of coaching, tell us a little bit of all like the things you have going on right now that's just fulfilling your life.
Absolutely. So coaching is one. You said outside of coaching. The second one is that I am an author and I also, so I have to do a plug. Growing Perspectives, we published our first book this summer called Unlocking Your Leadership. Thank you. And we have three co-authors, women leaders. We come from diverse backgrounds, three different generations. And this was fantastic. So it is available on Amazon. So anyone who's listening, please grab a copy. Anyone in leadership will find a spot in the book for them. And then if it's not for them, it's for someone they know. So I have writing, and I wrote my first book last year. And then I'm the president of another nonprofit based here in Virginia, but we support a local area in South Carolina, my home state. And we support students to attend colleges, trade school, or universities. And this is in my father's memory. So that's the William Lee Holman Legacy Education and Community Foundation, supporting students outside of the Santee, South Carolina area. And then the final thing I would say, I'm active in my local community, in the church, and in our Chamber of Commerce. So I'm a part of the board of directors for the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce. I'm the board chair this year, and those are some spots and places that I'm connected. And I'm just excited to give back, excited to support growth and enjoying the journey.
So I tease Kaisha because like I feel like a little brother like following behind her because I've like watched her and I'm like, ooh, she's doing trade shows and expos. I need to do trade shows and expos. And then oh, she's doing something with the chamber. I need to do something with the chamber. So your leadership is just it just radiates. And I think that you are just shining example of what someone can do when they have clear goals. And as soon as they hit a goal, they rest, they recharge, and then they set another goal because there's always like a new mountain that you can climb if you stay focused and motivated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, Kaisha, Dorian already told me you were doing big things in Virginia. I see that your reach is outside of Virginia, all the way down, almost all the way down to me in Atlanta, Georgia, down in South Carolina. And so I applaud you for all of that. And I'm hoping that our audiences and our network come to Spotify, come to our YouTube channel and watch either the full podcast or watch some of the shorts that we'll have. And we want to end with you providing the audience with some information about how they can contact you about your services.
Yes, absolutely. Please go to our website. It's www.growingperspectives.com. Also on LinkedIn, you can find me, Kaisha McCrea, and my name is there, Kaisha, McCrea, MCCrea, and also Growing Perspectives Career Consulting on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook also.
That's great. That's great. Well, we're going to try to connect you. We're going to connect you with everybody in our network. So, Dorian, do you have any final words before we wrap up?
Oh, sure. Just if you're a young professional and you're trying to grow your career, follow her. She has like every week without fail, she shares career tips. They're super helpful. As far as me, I'm really focused right now on building out like my small business consulting coaching. So if you're a small business owner and you're looking for somebody to help you with strategy, leadership development, building out your team, I'd love to have a conversation with you. You can find me at www.yourpathexecutivesolutions.com. And I'm proud to be one of the first coaches under the Power Six Leader Program. And more, I'm having small business owners that are asking me to work with their employees on that program just so that they can build their leadership skills. So if you're interested in learning more about that, Rudy will tell you a little bit about, Power Six and how you can learn about that program.
Great. Yeah, we're growing and we're training more ICF coaches. We're venturing out to businesses, nonprofits, and we want the Power Six Leader System to be another tool in an ICF certified coaches toolbox. And so they are well trained. They do a great job, and this is just one more tool. And we have a very, very good a diagnostic leadership evaluation that also can help them with their clients and to bring value to their clients. So you can go to www.power6leader.com and learn more about that. And we are very active on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So we want to end by thanking you so very much for joining us today, being our guests, being great, and learning about all the not only good things about setting goals, but just all the ways in which a leader can have impact. So, Kaisha, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you both for having me.
Okay. Well, with that, we'll end the show. Thanks for coming to the Coaching Goal podcast. Have a great day.